Street food is any ready-to-eat food or beverage sold and sometimes prepared in open public spaces or takeaway stores. FAO estimated that 2.5 billion people every day in the world eat street food. Since 2011, street food has been gaining momentum in Italy. With over 3,000 new licenses issued in the last 5 years, there are now 8,500 street food businesses in the country. The number of newspapers articles dedicated to street food have been increasing exponentially since 2012. The over 50 street food festivals organized in the last year throughout the country have attracted about 500,000 people. Where does this trend come from? Let's start from a story. 2008, Los Angeles, USA. A county ordinance requires street food trucks to move every half hour. Los Angeles street chefs rise up against this rule. If customers cannot locate them, their business is likely to fail. A Korean-American chef who sells Korean tacos from a truck finds an alternative solution. Only a year before, a new social network called Twitter had begun to spread, and he thought, if customers cannot follow my food truck physically, they can do it virtually. Kogi BBQ earns $2 million in the first year of activity and enters the top 10 list of best chefs in town. Today, he has 130,000 followers. 2008 is also the year of the global financial crash. Kogi's story is able to inspire thousands of unemployed people. A food truck is much cheaper than a restaurant, and the recipe for success seems simple. A menu consisting of a single dish, possibly fusion and gourmet. Emphasize the use of natural, organic, local ingredients, winking to the growing demand for healthy food in the most obese Western country. Customize a food truck with graffiti and unusual shapes. Create an appealing logo. And finally, of course, open a Twitter account. The street food industry in the US, which until then had been run mainly by immigrants and low-income classes, is now attracting professional chefs, as well as former professionals from a variety of fields: lawyers, teachers, brokers, and even Ivy League graduates. The US food truck industry has done an annual 9% growth over the past 5 years, earning $860 million in 2014, aiming to $2.7 billion in the next 5 years. The echo of this growth reaches Europe. At the end of 2011, a second wave of the economic crisis reaches Italy. The traditional Ape car by Piaggio is redesigned, becoming a modern and appealing mobile kitchen. Not surprisingly, many new street chefs come from the design and communication industry. Few of them use Twitter, but everyone has a Facebook page. The new dishes blend tradition and originality. Hamburgers, of course, but made of pure Chianina meat. French crepes also, but original Breton ones. Kebabs finally, but filled with chocolate. These new small food trucks are mushrooming, but they are still almost invisible in the streets. They prefer to participate in festivals, openings of trendy clubs, and private events. Along the sidewalks, in squares, parks, markets, we rather find other categories of street food outlets. The most common ones are fixed kiosks, 19th century style iron structures painted in dark green that sell cold sandwiches, coffee and snacks, mainly located in pedestrian areas and parks, often providing tables and chairs. Then we find the so-called paninari, a legacy of the 1980s. Big vans with aluminium interiors, mainly selling hot sandwiches and hot dogs, often near stadiums and clubs, even at night. In towns' historical centers, we find smaller vans selling ice cream, roasted chestnuts, and prepackaged snacks. Finally, there are still a few push carts, especially popular in the South, selling traditional local dishes. A survey showed that Italy is second among EU countries for rate and absolute number of street food fans, 570,000, equal to 18% of the over 3 million fans estimated throughout Europe. In Milan, we find the largest number of street food fans, followed by Rome, Florence, Naples, and Palermo. However, if we look at the percentage of fans over the population in each city, Florence becomes first, followed by Palermo, Milan, Bologna, Venice, Rome, and Bari. A countrywide field survey shows that Italians eat on the street on average 75 times a year. Males eat more frequently than women, college students more than workers. Most consumers are between 20 and 35 years old, with an average age of 32. Consumption increases as income goes down, and the frequency of consumption increases as we move from north to south. 1/3 of the sample declares to eat street food because it is fast, another 1/3 because it is tasty. Only 15% eat street food because it is inexpensive. The speed is more important in the north than in the south, where people rather give priority to affordability and taste. On average, Italians are willing to spend 8.2 euros for a meal in the street. Women are willing to spend 1 euro less than men, and in the south, people spend 2 euros less than those living in the north. On the podium of street foods, we find sliced pizza, panini, and gelato. Local and regional dishes are at the bottom of the ranking. Young people are more attracted by common foods, while traditional ones are most valued by adults. 4/5 of consumers drink water, 2/3 opt for beer, 1/3 gets soft drinks. Only 1 out of 20 drinks spirits and wines. Men drink more beer and savor food made of spicy meat or innards. Women rather drink smoothies and juices and appreciate vegetarian foods. Those who live with their children eat more ice cream. 4/5 of the sample eat street food in their free time, while 1/3 does it during the workday. More than 2/3 have it for lunch and a half for dinner. In the north, street food makes a usual lunch break. In the south, it makes perfect dinners in the spare time, and it is an option for breakfast. Men appreciate it as a night snack, like youngsters and singles. The majority eat street food with friends, but 1/3 happens to eat alone. The majority of the sample eats while sitting. Street food is mainly bought from takeaway stores, while in the street, fixed kiosks win over mobile outlets. Women choose where to eat based on the cleanliness of the outlet. For men, the personal relationship with the vendor is also very important. Finally, on a scale from 1 to 10, the average rating that consumers give to street food in Italy, that is, to its quantity, variety, cost, cleanliness, and aesthetics, is insufficient. Only its quality barely reaches sufficiency.